questions for about my presentation, I'd be glad to hear it.
Sure. Can you tell me why you can break into schism immediately after what you deem heresy? Why is the immediate response to break into schism? I don't understand.
Because of Canon 15 of the First Second Synod that I had up on
Yeah,
the screen.
I think you're actually misinterpreting that canon as a whole. In fact, I
That's
think
nice,
no,
but
no. I
unfortunately,
think
the
that canon,
interpretation of Saint Nicodemus disagrees with you.
Saint Nicodemus,
Yeah, he made a comment on every one.
this canon is
Yes,
telling us to
every
Guys,
single
guys, hang
canon.
on, hang on, hang on. One at a time. I'm okay with a little bit of talking over or cutting in. I think that some of that's appropriate, but don't make it so horrendous that we can't even understand what's going on.
I
So
just don't like
that
lies.
let's yeah, but it's okay. I'm not chastising you specifically, Joseph, or you, resident sleeper. It's a fiery debate. I understand that, but we need to at least keep it somewhat coherent for the audience. Go ahead, gentlemen.
Canon 15 does not say that we should completely separate from the church. It tells us to be more like Saint Cyril, who anathematized Nestorius. He maintained that Nestorius was a God-loving minister of the church in his letters to him, where he anathematized him.
Okay, 2 points. The first one is Saint Cyril is not mentioned in Saint Nicodemus's interpretation of Canon 15 of the First Second Synod. The second point is that Saint Cyril was also preparing a council for anathematization, was trying to get the council together to anathematize Nestorius. That's why he's polite.
And anathematization leads immediately to schism?
If someone commits a heresy, it leads immediately to the fall from grace of God.
A formal heresy? What formal heresy was committed?
It does. Well, okay, let's try this again.
Go on.
It does not say formal heresy in the canon. It says heresy, and it specifically says heresy condemned by a council. It does not say an ecumenical council. It simply says a council, because a lot of heresies were local and died out where they were. That's part of the history of the church. It's not like every heresy struck the world. Yugoslavia, up until probably 20 years ago, never made it outside the bounds of Russia. The point is that that's a very weird way to look at things. The point is the church's job locally is to convene councils when somebody is preaching heresy or condemn the heretic. That it's really that simple. And it's not like some great thing. And to say schism from the church, if you're preserving the church from heresy, you're not going into schism. That's the point of the canon.
Mr. Sweden, when you leave the church, the people who
I didn't leave the church.
Yes, you did. The people.
No, I didn't.
The people who care most about.
I disagree. You left
Give him
the
a
church,
moment.
sir.
Give him a moment to respond. Joseph, go ahead.
The people who care most about the issue of ecumenism, your groups, leaving the Orthodox Church, doesn't help the Orthodox Church solve those issues.
I disagree. And you know why?
How?
That's the way we've always done it. We've always broken away from heresy.
Splitting into
that is correct.
Group?
Yes, the entire history of the church is filled with it. Try the Meletian schism for a start.
What
the point is this: this illusion.
Hold on, Mr. Sweden. In the
yes,
Arian
yes, anonymous.
Wait, resident sleeper, let him respond. Go ahead. Go ahead, Joseph.
The point is this: that has happened historically many times. In the Meletian schism, in the aftermath of Florence, are just two glaring examples of where that happened, where people separated from what was officially the church to protect orthodoxy, and then orthodoxy would
came
succeed.
back to the church.
No, they didn't come back. They were the church. The people who you don't even get it. The people who were the church were not the Unionists. They were not the people who are siding with the Arians. The church is the Orthodox, remember?
During the Arian crisis, Mr. Sweden, there were only 5 canonical bishops at the time, but they didn't break away. In fact, they stayed within the church. Hold on, please, Mr. Sweden. And even then, when it comes to the Filioque controversy, for example, another example, 300 years it took for them to deem it a reason to schism. Your church, your tiny sect, does not do that. They left immediately.
Can I respond now?
Go.
Yeah. First off, you're wrong about the Filioque. You read way too many secondary sources. Most of the Filioque interpolations have been found in the 10th and 11th centuries with the rise of the Hildebrandians, who eventually became the Roman Catholic Church. Second off, you're wrong on that. They didn't tolerate the Filioque. They actually considered it heretical, even in the West.
And they deemed it only worth schisming after 300 years of it existing.
But it didn't exist for 300 years is my point.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't. I'm not going to accept your professor's book when we see actual manuscripts that show that it was interpolated. You're wrong. But let's leave that aside for just a moment, because you said there were only five canonical bishops during the Arian crisis. Fun question. How many total official bishops were there?
I don't remember the official number.
Why was it more than 10?
It's 80% of the Orthodox Church at that time. More than 80% was Arian at that time.
Okay, then they weren't the Orthodox Church. That's my point. You just said it.
You said hold on.
Yes, they did.
Where?
They were not in communion with the heretical bishops. That's where Athanasius Contra Mundum comes from, because he was literally in communion with none of them.
Where?
I just said it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I explained. You were the one who pointed to the example of 5 bishops, but you said they didn't schism from the church. They weren't in communion with the Arians, but the official church definitely was.
The church to fix it from within. The Holy Orthodox Church still exists. Those Arian bishops are Orthodox, and after they became.
Thank you. You have successfully proven my point.
Those Arian bishops, at the time of fixing the crisis, the Arian crisis, came back to the Orthodox Church. They are Orthodox.
Did they repent
of the schism? Of course.
They repent?
Why else would they be Orthodox?
When they didn't repent, were they Orthodox?
Were they breaking communion doesn't immediately kick you out?
That's not what I asked.
What
were they Orthodox before they repented or not?
In name they were, like your church.
In name they were. Thank you. And in name you are too. Congrats.
It's incorrect, Mr. Swayden.
Okay, Anon.
Okay.
You call me. You call me Mr. Swayden. I'm going to call you Anon.
For religious reasons, I can't call you that.
Oh, that's you know what's funny. You know what's funny about the little diorite sect? You guys are so arrogant on this.
What
it's
makes
funny.
You think
I actually said
Christ
is. I said Christ is risen to someone on Twitter who was part of it. He couldn't say truly is risen back.